And just want to change that if I can. Pin
Infuse today.
that's it. So I'm doing pin me. There we go. Okay, over to you.
Okay, Vicious, my mummy and daddy. Where's daddy?
It's over there.
Oh, there he is, sorry. and Vicious, my sister. We are going a little bit of a journey this morning, and we're going to go look at an idea about preparation for mitzvahs. We're in the preparation stage for the wedding this next week, and we're going to see. I'm going to go. There's three stages we're going to go through. First of all, the idea of going through some sources where we see that the preparation for the mitzvah is often even greater than actually performing the mitzvah in and of itself. The importance of that. We're going to see that also sourced in this week's Sedra as well. We're going to bring out hopefully a few inspirational points about that to help us understand the Sedra. And the final point, which is probably going to be the most important point, is how we're going to put this into practice. So whenever a teacher, a rabbi speaks, it's not just about intellectually understanding it. We want it to have some change in us. So that's the idea. That I'm hoping that our learning this morning will move us actually to think about how we're doing our life in general, especially the mitzvot. And through the subject we're exploring, maybe we'll come out of this not just enjoying our fruit and whiskey and or the what do you call the croissants and the coffee, but also we'll come out of it hopefully inspired and wanting to make some changes, even small, in our life as well. So let's have a look at some of the sources. I've got 13 sources for us where we're going to explore different aspects of where we see that the preparation for mitzvah is actually even greater than mitzvah itself. The first one is the Gemara in Brachos. Adam lasos mitzvah. A person who thought about doing the mitzvah. It nearly happened to me. I thought about coming and giving a shir today, and I was stuck in traffic. And let's say I wasn't able to do it. Some in Shemayim, I would have got the reward for doing that anyway. And this is a very powerful point, that the idea of thinking about mitzvahs, actually having our minds engaged in it, is so important. Rather than just robotically, doing things, we're having our thought behind it, and we're going to explore the more sources as well, the importance of that. Then we have the Gemara in Kedushim, that machshava tova mitztaref HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lamasa, that somebody has a good thought, even if you don't do it. It was similar to the first source. Then it's mitztaref. It's joined to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It joins that into to the actual action. So I suppose we can learn from that. There's two things happening, not just the action, but the thought as well. We're going to get rewarded for. So even this morning, we can sit here, or any moment in time, we can think a good thought. So in fact, in my therapy work, I produced little leaflets about this. Is in the cognitive therapy, about how our thoughts are medicine for us. This is maybe in a therapeutic sense. When we start thinking good thoughts, it actually is like a medicine. And in the sheet I produce, it says we should think many thoughts and take many throughout the day as a type of medicine for us. And maybe that is a therapeutic idea in a spiritual idea as well. When we're thinking thoughts about doing mitzvahs, how we're going to do it, etc., that not only with the actual doing it, but the thoughts behind it also gets put together with the mitzvah. And maybe at this point we can just ask the question which I probably asked before and worth thinking about: what is the definition of a mitzvah? What does a mitzvah mean? Anybody?
A commandment.
A commandment
From God. Yeah.
A commandment from God. Any other definitions? No.
Some people say it's a good deed.
Some people say it's good deeds, and it can be a good deed. For me, my understanding, when I think of the word mitzvah, it means a connection. Yeah, we talk about having a 613 mitzvahs. It means to be connected. Actually, we're going to see this with the sources coming up as well. That's the ultimate goal of mitzvah, is to be connected. It's feeling that connection. And when we're feeling connected, we're living, and that's what Kadosh Baruch Hu wants. So we think of a mitzvah is that we're deepening that connection. Then we go to the Gemara in Sota, and it was schar halicha, that we get rewarded. We also see this in the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos as well. That if you go but you don't do, or if you do but you don't go, you get the rewards. So the idea of the actual going somewhere, so like the effort to come to shul, So not just being in shul, but all the preparation we do, the actual the derech, the way we go, that's also part of it. In fact, there's a Gemara, I was going to look it up. There was I think it was either somebody traveled from Bavel to Israel, or from Israel to Bavel. It was a 6-month journey. You may have heard this Gemara. Yeah, I remember this. I was going to look at, and then they literally traveled for 6 months, went to the Shir, and then they traveled back 6 months. And yeah, I don't know if that was a guzma, it was an exaggeration, but the idea of that idea, even the going was part of the mitzvah as well. Yeah, and in fact, even for ourselves, and maybe I'm sort of leading us to that direction as well. For example, coming to shul. So everything we do, from washing our hands, getting dressed, the walking, the journey, that's all part of the mitzvah of davening. So it's not just the davening in and of itself, but everything we do in the preparation of that's part of it as well. In fact, this is a useful thing to think about. Again, in terms of an upgrade of our life, of our existence. That what we're doing, it's not just getting there; it's all the preparation stage as well. It becomes a mitzvah. Again, the translation of mitzvah means a sense of deep connection. My life has purpose. So as I'm getting dressed, it's this is a purposeful thing I'm doing on the way to doing the actual ikka mitzvah. Now, zerizim makdimi mitzvahs, which this is something I like to do. This morning I was a little bit late. The reason means that you have a sense of alacrity when we do the mitzvahs, makdimim le mitzvahs, and maybe you can translate this even more important than mitzvahs. The energy we put behind it is makdimim. It's, well, on the one hand, the simple translation it precedes, but it's that's more important than the actual mitzvah itself. And then we have the Gemara in Shabbos, and we connect this to Avram Avinu, which is interesting insight here. That the greatness of giving hospitality is even greater than receiving the Shekhinah. Again, where do we see this? It's also with Avinu, yeah, which is there's an interesting dynamic going on there. I mean, we've seen pastures of Vayera that Hashem has appeared to him. And Avraham says, "I'm sorry, I've got something more important to do. I got guests." Yeah. And I think maybe from here we see, or this is maybe a slightly different idea, that actually the acting like a Kodesh Baruch Hu is even greater than actually receiving that sense of Shekhinah. Yeah, okay. Then we go on to the next source about preparation of Shabbos. Lo'olam yashkem adam lahachanas Shabbos, that where a person get up early on Friday morning, especially in the winter when Shabbos comes in so early, and then the Gemara goes on to give different examples, like Rav and Rav Chisda, who they did different sort of quote unquote menial activities to prepare for Shabbos. And then we got the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, Lefum Tzara Agra, according to the reward. According to the efforts is the rewards. And actually, we see if somebody's made a siyum on learning Gemara, we talk about the idea of the rewards. The Heim Amelim of Anu Amelim. They are busy, and we're busy. Yeah, and we get that little meditation there says we get rewards, even if we don't understand the Gemara or just the word in and of itself. We get rewarded for that. Okay. Then we go to the Hilchos Teshuvah. The Rambam says, "Lefi rov hama'aseh," according to the effort or the action, or lefi godel hayagia, the effort v'hasachar. And we see this. This is I remember learning even from early times. I remember hearing in Kenton from different teachers in Kenton as well. The idea it's when it's our effort. Let's say, for example, somebody's very fluent in reading Hebrew. And they were able to get through the tefillah, and somebody's working on their Hebrew, and they maybe don't get through all the prayers, but they are making an effort in whatever thing it is, or they're trying to not speak Lashon Hara. Maybe they're used to speaking Lashon Hara, whatever it is, and they're working on it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Rambam writes, and this or the feeling that of the writing the Rambam is talking about Hilchos Teshuvah. It's where we are and how the efforts that we're putting in, and the Kodesh Baruch Hu knows what's in our hearts and what we are struggling with. So whatever we're struggling with, the efforts, that is what we're rewarded for. Yeah. Okay. Let's go over the Magen Avraham says mitzvah bo yoseh mishlucha, which is a famous idea that we're on source 9 now. That we're given a choice. You can outsource your your mitzvah, or you can do it yourself. Mitzvah bo yoseh mishlucho. It's more meritorious, more of a mitzvah, more of a connection when you do it yourself rather than getting somebody else to do it for you. And then we go the Maharal in his Nesiv Ha'avoda. Ikar Ha'avoda Tuli Baratzon Halev. The actual avoda, and we avoda often refers to tefillah, but it could be just a general service in and of itself, is what's going on in our hearts. Is Yosem Ma'aseh. So for example, somebody's put on tefillin. So if you're just sort of slapping your tefillin on, but if you're putting your tefillin on and you're really thinking about it, there's some people say a little meditation before tefillin. That is the most important thing. It's not just putting it on. It's how we're feeling about it as well. And then this is actually something I started. I have a chavrusa in going through the code of Jewish law, and we just started learning yesterday the laws of Purim. In fact, the main mitzvah is for in preparation for Pesach. We also brought in the Gemara Megillah as well. Sholim v'doshim b'hilchas Pesach shloshim yom kodem Pesach. We start learning about Pesach 30 days. And the Shulchan Aruch is that the same for other festivals as well. There's a general idea, but the principle is about the preparation. When we start learning about Purim now, we've got less than 30 days to Purim now. We start thinking about it. It gets us excited. It gets us connected to the actual mitzvah. Two more sources, and then we'll look into the Sedra. Ein omdim nispalel ela mitoch koved rosh. We can't. There's the Mishnah in Vachas that we should not go into davening with a heavy head. Yeah, we need preparation. It brings their Hasidim, Havishonim. The early pious people would wait a shah achas, which is literally an hour, but we can understand it. We take some moments to prepare ourselves before davening. Again, the idea of the preparation. So then the final one is the Gemara Megillah. Yagatu Matzata Ta'amim. You make if somebody says I've made the effort and I achieved it, then we believe that person. Somebody says I did make the effort and I achieved it, Al Ta'amin. We don't believe that person. So the importance of putting in effort, preparation for things. Any questions on the sources? Any what we call ha'aras? Any insights from what we've said? Make sense? Yeah. Okay. So let's connect it to the Sedra. Where do we see this in the Sedra? I put 2 points down on the sheet, just extrapolating it out, and that is there's a big question at the beginning of the Sedra about the first part of the Sedra when it happens. The fact there's a dispute between Rashi and Ramban. Rashi learns it out that the coming of Yitro was actually after the giving of the Torah on Mount Sinai. Yeah, it didn't happen before. Because it says Yitro came along and gave them advice, like I'm about to become a father-in-law. So this week's Sedra. Actually, my Chavrusa mentioned this morning about how do you know that Yitro had converted? Because he's only been on the scene for a few minutes and he's already giving advice to people. Yeah. So Yisro's advice was setting up a system of judges to be able to judge people regarding the law. And that could only happen after the Torah is given. So according to both Rashi and the Midrash, the Ramban actually disagrees because he likes to keep everything chronological order, that Yitro came before Matan Torah. But according to most people, it came afterwards. So the question is, why is it that we have the sort of the parsha of Yitro coming, even though it happened after Matan Torah? So there's a few answers. The main answer is it teaches us about preparation. Yeah. What is the main preparation? The preparation we learn is from Yitro. What do we learn from Yitro? We learn about humility. Yitro was the big sort of Ganzamacher in the world of idol worship, and he left all of that to join the Jewish people. The idea of humility. He was a convert, and in fact, we learn out that we were all converts at Mount Sinai. We only became Jewish, as it were, even though we're descendants of Abraham. Once we received the Torah, that's when we became. And similarly, we learn from Yitro that he made the big efforts to be able to come and to join the Jewish people. Also, we learn about the idea. The first word of the Sedra is Vayishma. Yitro listened, and again, the idea of listening. I've mentioned before is a deep understanding, is humbling ourselves. Shema is onomatopoeic, and ah. We shared this before, and it's a deep understanding. So in order to prepare for Torah, we need to be humble. We need to prepare ourselves to be able to hear as well. Where else did I put it here? That's right. Okay. Also, Yitro, he taught sort of the verse around. When you hear something, you take action. Yeah. Vayishma Yitro, he heard something, he didn't just remain intellectually, he actually took action in and of itself. So therefore, the Yitro teaches us about preparation. We have this schedule becoming beforehand because the preparation is so important. And finally, the idea, which is something that's so beautiful, when we look at in this week's schedule, there are 39 verses which describe the actual giving of the Torah, the Mount Sinai with the 10 Commandments. The 39 verses can be split up into two parts. The first part is all the preparation. That takes 26 verses. There are 26 verses which talk about there was thunder and lightning and the sound of the shofar. Then they had to prepare with the boundary around Mount Sinai, and then the actual 10 Commandments take up 13 verses. So we see actually a doubling. There's twice as much verses talking about the actual preparation than the actual event of the enunciation of the 10 Commandments. And furthermore, we can see from here, in terms of the gematria, it spells Hashem Echad. Hashem's name is 26. Yud Kei Vav Kei is 26. Echad is 13. So Hashem Echad, that combination of good preparation plus the actual act itself brings together the unity of Kodesh Baruch Hu, Hashem Echad. So the final thing you want to think of, and that you don't necessarily need to give answers, or you might want to, is I put these two questions really prompting us. We know that the more preparation we put into something, the more we get out of it, the more we feel connected. So one question, but two ways of asking it is, what can I start doing today to improve the way I prepare myself to do any mitzvah? And what mitzvah do I want to put more preparation into? So that's what I want to leave you with. If anybody's got any thoughts they want to share on that, they can please let me know. If not, you can keep it inside you and make those changes in and of yourself.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will say goodbye to those on Zoom, and I will then do the final bits here. Let's turn the Zoom off.